Hello and welcome to an episode of The Card Show. This week's episode, we're talking about the current UK scene. I think the title of this podcast will be, has the scene outgrown the hobby? That makes sense. Which we'll delve into straight away, basically. But yeah, actually, in light of the recent London Card Show, the majority of things were positive. I'd say I heard. There's a few things that I won't say negative, but we'll sort of touch on shortly, but where the scene is sort of going. So certain sellers or even buyers in some cases were finding it not as useful, should we say? I've talked about this numerous times. If you want to buy or sell cards, eBay is going to be one of the best places because of the amount of eyes. Um, you know, anywhere around the world can list the cards, whereas at a card show, everything has to align, right? You have to be able to get there as a seller, get your stuff there, spend the money to go there, all sort of stuff, and same as a buyer. But yeah, the recent card show was done. Again, majority really good stuff. I think the TCG side of things is flourishing no end. And in the sports side of things, where we get into it. So they announced their pricing. This is London Card Show. They announced their pricing for the XL show. So it's not the show that is next. That's Escher. I don't think it's one after that. It might be the first one of 2026. I feel like it's not. I feel like it's the second one. And it looks like it's just the one there. Yeah, I can't remember exactly. I'm pretty sure it's a couple still at Sandown and then XL and back at Sandown. I thought they might be making XL their home now. Maybe that'll be 2027's plan. Obviously, I did say I'm on record saying if I was running a card show or went to run a card show, I would definitely be trying to snipe Sandown. Because people know the location, people know to get there, people know it now for the last couple of years. Very big space, and if London moves to XL, I'd ask Harry if he's intrigued to be a bit of a partner on it as well, because he's got good links there. But I'm not. That's what I'm saying. That I'm not. So yeah, wrong things to do. But if I was, that would definitely be something to do for sure. And again, like I said, I would speak to Harry and the team and offer them some sort of partnership. But yeah, that's someone else's job to do. I'm just gonna stick to what I do best, which is I don't know. But we'll get into what happened. So basically, they announced their ticket prices for the XL, and this is for the table prices and sort of a shell scheme sort of prices, like a big booth sort of scenario. So it came out. I've got it here in front of me. So it came out. It came out at sports tables, which is 6 by 2 foot tables. Friday was £175 plus VAT. Weekend, just Saturday and Sunday, is £400 plus VAT. And 3 days, because obviously it's 3 days, so Friday to Sunday is £550 plus VAT. And they did say, it includes 1 meter height backing wall, includes the tablecloth, 1 chair, includes access for 2 people per table, then additional 1 for every table added. I do think card shows should allow 2 people. I do think you should allow 2 chairs as well. It should be 2 chairs. Just for one, safety of theft. Yes, we wouldn't do everything we can, but also, sleight of hand in close quarters, if you're doing with someone, is kind of hard to detect. Having a pair of eyes or someone there who can maybe speak to that person who's who doesn't have the attention on him, deters him from trying to steal. This is very interesting, that it does not include power or internet. This can be added at a later stage, which is interesting. I don't know if that was going to be priced or not priced. I'm sure not many of them need power at a table, but I'm sure some would. But yeah, interesting that you have to know this. TCG/other. So again, 6 by 2 foot tables. Their Friday tables were 225 plus VAT. Weekend Saturday Sunday was £500 plus VAT, and a 3-day Friday Sunday is £700 plus VAT. Again, includes the height backing wall, includes table chairs. Same again with internet and power, etc. being added. I would say I've seen more of the Pokemon TCG side of things having sort of displays behind them that maybe require lights, power to light them up, or like spinny carousel sort of things. Uh, more than sports, so maybe that's why they've got to know this sort of thing. But yeah, interesting. And the shell scheme says there was a 3 by 2 meter booth. Friday Sunday is £990, £999 plus VAT. I don't know if I can say VAT or VAT. I don't know. I'll keep mixing up. So that includes 2 to 4 tables in the space, includes access for 3 people, includes carpets, includes back and side panel, includes blue fascia around booth. Okay. Includes option to add branded name board. Doesn't include power or internet. This is made later. Interesting that they don't include power internet. I thought that was going to be the sort of division, right? You sort of say it on the tables. You don't. When you get a big skiing thing for £1,000, you do. Yeah. There's a 3 by 3 meter booth, which is £1,350 plus VAT. Again, same. Access for 3 people, etc., etc. And then the biggest one is 4 by 2 meters Friday Sunday, and that's £1,350. Interesting. Well, they all. I know it's not much difference, meters per side there, but still 2 to 4 tables in the space, still 3 people. So yeah, so come out, and there was backlash. Would we say backlash? There were people that obviously have comments, we have opinions. My personal opinion is I actually don't find that horrendous. I can understand where people come from, obviously. But we're talking, so the sports already are £150 for the 3 day, £150 cheaper than TCG, which if you were TCG, sure you'd argue that we're at the same place here, what's going on? So maybe they've got the argument. But look what they're going to now. Look where London's going to. Look where the hobby's going to. Like, this isn't your local card show, your 40, £50 table scenario. This is, you might get, you're lucky if you get close to 1,000 people. If you can get 500 people go through the door. This is going to be potentially a lot of, because again, I don't know, I don't have any information here, but a percentage is going to be the national in the UK, right? This is going to have big businesses coming in on these little shell scheme sections, right? They're all going to big moves and showing off. I can imagine Fanatics and Tops will do some stuff here. It'd be cool if we can get some grading companies across. I don't know if on-site grading could be possible. Possibly now with like AGS, who have now done the last London card show. But yeah, like this is it now. I think this is becoming sort of national sort of size, right? National sort of deal. I do think Harry will, and the rest of the team will speak to the connections they made over in America and try and get some of them guys over again. The famous people that people watch, regularly on YouTube, whatever. So yeah, I'm not surprised by the pricing. I understand why people get upset. But I also think it's where you are in the hobby, right? It's the people that have probably been, I won't say been at London since day one. There's not many that I still see regular. I think 90s is someone that I see regularly like pop up there and have a table. He's been there for proper OG. But yeah, there's a lot of like new people coming through. I think people are starting to turn it into a business, and I get it. 550 plus VAT. But if you're a business in this, and can you make double that back in the weekend? This is where you should be aiming to be at, right? As the business. And I get it if you go profits, but if you're buying raw and grading and doing well, and you have a good amount of cards, then yeah. So there was I don't say I feel bad saying backlash. There was murmurs, there was talks. I don't know. People had their opinions. People had their opinions on this. It seemed that people, I don't know if they added them or literally emailed them. I don't actually know how correspondence got back to the card show, but they acted on what was said. They posted about this. They emailed as well. I think it's interesting that people that seem to like. I think you can have you're well within your right to have an opinion on, hey, this price is too much. You kind of pricing those out of the hobby sort of thing. Does it need to be there? And you can ask the question. Why not? I can always ask the question. I think it's when you go personal, is and attack the team. I mean, this is still just in. I'm an older man, so Harry's a young man. It's a family business. He said if you ever remember the first couple, it was like him, his mum, his sister, his dad. You know, like maybe we lost the four of them, if that. So, yeah, and what they've built is incredible. And yeah, I think it's just took to another level. And I think, unfortunately, I don't think a lot of the people in it, because it's not their business, it's not their full time business. They don't really have that. They probably make, they probably inventory is probably a couple of grand of cards, if that. Um, so all of a sudden you're thinking, well, I have to take, I have to pay for it, sell all their cards at good money, and then yes, they can pay for the weekend, but where they're really at for what they've put into the card, sort of thing. So I get it, but maybe it's a time that people are trying to take this more seriously now, because if this show goes as well as it should do, uh, you know, and there's like sort of that proof that there is demand, the money in it for sports, then maybe more people can start to know and say, hey, I'm gonna maybe I'm gonna drop down part time at my job here and focus on this, and I'll put more money into the cars, make hopefully grow that business, and then these sort of things won't be an issue, and maybe the demand will be there for sports cars to have more of a section. You know, that's what it is. But again, they responded. They put an email out. They were a lot more polite than I would have been. Again, it's how they run a business like this. And yeah, they rejigged some things, which is kind of crazy. I think there must have been a lot of questions as well, so it'll sort of explain stuff in a second. But sports tables now, so they sort of did it originally just sports table. Here's the price, TC table. Now they broke it down to sports one table, sports two tables, sports three tables. The price is per day, per weekend, per 3 day. So yeah, so now the new price is for one sports table, Friday 150 plus VAT, weekend is 375 plus VAT, and then for the 3 day it's £500 plus VAT. For 2 days, nope, that's all right. For two tables on Friday it's 270, and for the weekend it's 675 again plus VAT, and for 3 days it's £900 plus VAT. And they which was nice. It kind of, I just realized they just broke it down as in what it is. Like the £900 is £150 plus VAT per table per day. Just in case you couldn't do maths, I don't know, quick maths. And then three tables, which will be intriguing to see if someone takes three sports tables. £380 plus VAT. The weekend, that's on Friday, sorry. The weekend is £950 plus VAT. And for 3 days, it's £1,275 plus VAT. So interesting. So obviously there's a discount per tables you get. I do think the one will be interesting. I'm intrigued to see what people do. Do people then load up on Friday, maybe on Sports Wise, pay 150? Like, is that manageable people? And the weekend is quieter for sports because people didn't want to pay the 375 plus VAT, or people don't want to pay the £500. Just have one table plus VAT. Again, if you know two tables, 900 plus VAT, and then obviously 1275 plus VAT. So it's going to be interesting to see. Do people go, right, listen, let's just do the Friday. We can cope with 150 plus VAT. Maybe you get two tables, 270 plus VAT on the Friday. Will be interesting. Will we see people team up maybe, and have a table each or a table and a half each, and sort of say, hey, if we do this, it's we do two tables each, what, 450 for the 3 days? Can we manage that? Again, three tables, it's 635 quid or whatever, plus VAT. Yeah. So yeah, maybe we'll see some stuff like this happen. TTG, again, they did teach us other one table, two tables, three tables. So for one table on a Friday, it's £180 plus VAT. So again, £30 more expensive than sports. Weekend was £395 plus VAT, so it takes it to £20 more than sports. And then for the 3 day, it's £550 plus VAT, so £50 more expensive than sports. And then for two tables, it's on a Friday it's £325 plus VAT. For the weekend, it's £710 plus VAT, and then for the 3 days, it's £990 plus VAT. So again, more expensive for TCG. 3 tables, £460 for Friday, £1,000 for Saturday and Sunday, and then £1,400 for Friday to Sunday for 3 tables, which is, interesting to see. I don't know if the TCG side of things kicks off on as much. It'll be interesting to see if they allocate even more. Like if they give it, I mean, it's obviously a long time to this show. So if they give it to the end of the year and say, "Hey, sports isn't selling, we can't drop the price," because then if people see that the price has dropped in sports again, and you're paying TCG, paying double what the sports paying, for instance, do they then kick off? Do you start doing refunds? So then do you allocate some more to Pokemon? Do you say, "Hey, we have open up some more Pokemon TCG / others tables available," knowing that they will probably go, which should be interesting. And then does that then put off sports people going? Because all of a sudden you're thinking, well, I'm hearing it's only Fridays and Pokemon TCG have got 70% of the show, 80% of the show, whatever it may be. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there. And then the shell ski prices didn't actually change, I don't think. No, it didn't change. Just gone through them. So yeah, they've stayed the same. £990 for a 3x2 plus VAT. 3x3 is £1,350 plus VAT, and then a 4x2 is £1,350 plus VAT. So yeah, they stayed the same. Yeah, Friday, Sunday. I didn't realize that the 3x3 and the 4x2 are the same price as well. 135. I'm pretty sure I read that out to you guys all like 20 minutes ago. So yeah, it's very interesting. Interesting to see where the hobby is at demand wise, because I think we demanded this. Well, demanded it's a bit harsh to say it, but the demand was there for these size of shows. I just don't think people realize the money that it costs to get these sort of shows, right? So now we'll see the hobby has come to this stage where we need Excel for football, for bringing in the big things, but do the people in the hobby have that in them to be paying these sort of prices? I personally think it's very TCG heavy, because I do think TCG will have that sort of outlay and go, yeah, it's fine. I think the majority of TCG Pokemon others sellers have that sort of in abundance, it seems. So yeah, I think for them a couple of cards and that's it. It seems to be the majority of Pokemon TCG sort of sellers, a couple of cards pays for the weekend. Including profit, right? Clean their profit. Whereas with sports, I feel like it seems to be a lot more. People's percentage margins probably a bit smaller. So to be clawing back like £1,000 plus, don't think that's just a table. So if you do have to travel down, accommodation, I will preface that. I can't. Yeah, I don't know if that's preface is the right word there, because I just said I already said accommodation. London Car Show did say there is this plans is you can do installments. I think it's like 50% and then 50% at a certain time. So you don't have to pay the lump sum right then. And there was also a discount at hotels. So if you book your table, I think it was only for vendors as well, I would say. I don't think you just buy a general admission ticket and get a discount hotel. But yeah, if you bought a table, they had a link where you got a discount at a hotel, maybe it's a local hotel. I'm hoping it's got like parking. You can bring all your stuff and it's not got parking at a hotel, it'd be kind of crazy. So yeah, that's another thing to think about. Travel, accommodation, then the table on the weekend, and obviously drinking food for 3 days, 3 nights, potentially more if you want to go down Thursday, get yourself ready for Friday morning. Maybe you don't want to leave Sunday after 3 hectic days of the show, so maybe doing a Thursday to Monday. So yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. I'm massive congrats to Dylan Car Show team for one, the growth. I didn't think it'd happen like this so quick in the UK personally. And two, for sort of hearing the people's opinions and realizing, hey, we could adjust this here, and making adjustments on the fly to still make it accessible to a lot more people. I think, yeah, people say, oh, it's only they only dropped off 10% off this or this much. But they're a business as well. They work with margins as well. They have, they can have I can imagine a shed ton of staff to pay for this one. Security, and I imagine the venue is not exactly a cheap venue. So, there's a big overlay gone into this outlay of cash. Probably looking for there. So yeah, they're trying to. They're a business. They're trying to be profitable themselves, so they have to do things. So it's going to be very interesting. I mean, I keep saying I'm kind of back in the car show thing. I miss it, but God knows, I'd love to be down there. I'd love to do a few days with that. I probably would do like a Thursday. What do I do a Thursday? Go down Thursday, London. It's a long time in London, isn't it? Go down London. Yeah, maybe because Thursday. The problem is, yeah, Thursday. Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember. I don't know if it says what time it starts. I know the London last London one on the Friday, it starts at late in the evening, right? Like 2 o'clock, something like that. So you don't really need to, do you? Really, like you get there, especially if you're in Manchester, you get a train, a couple hours. I'll be there. I can be there for midday. Can I really get my hotel, debrief, and then bit of food, go over to. So it'll be interesting with timing. If it's an early one, if it's a full Friday, then maybe I'll do a Thursday to Monday and try and enjoy it a little bit more. And obviously not having to rush around on Sunday. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. And sometimes you want to get back, don't you? You just want to get back on that train, go home, and just get in your bed. Get in your bed and relax. But yeah. Let me know your thoughts. You think London's now outpriced a lot of people? Actually, I'm interested in the price of admission. I can imagine like a 3-day VIP could be quite costly. It's going to be interesting to see what the percentage of the go along to get with it, the get along to go along gang. There'll be a percentage of people anyway that will be getting quote unquote discounted tables, should we say, or whatever it may be. So that'll be interesting as well. Is it fair? Is it right? It is what it is. It's business, right? You're going to hire certain influencers, certain people to do certain things to help grow the show. And I do think they will push more on the sports side because of the pushback and potentially the struggle to sell sports. So it'll be interesting to see your favorite go along get along gang promoting it because they offer you tables. But yeah, neither here nor there. And yeah, I think the other thing to talk about this week as well is because someone messaged me about this one. Is people using young children for social media? It's not something I agree with. I think I've only ever had one video of, I think I've done 200 plus videos now on YouTube. I think 200 plus videos I've done on YouTube. One video where I've actually had interaction with a child on camera. And that's because if you watch it, it was kind of sneakily. I was giving the kids a lanyard. So I just wanted to give him back a treat. So I got my London Cardio binder. I was T-Rex rips. Oh yeah, I was in there early doors with the vendor. I had security at the time. We're like, hey, where's your vendor thing? And I was like, oh, we know you're passing. It's like, oh, it's at my table. I just don't want to wear it right now. I'm just recording, sort of thing. And then he was like, oh, yes, you wear it. So I was like, oh, 1 second. And then luckily T-Rex rips. So I said, oh, here's mine. Put this on. Well, his son. So they put his on his, we're back and forth loading. So which was nice. nice treat to not having to run back to where I was to get my stuff, and just, I could carry on doing what I was doing. So yeah, I got him one, and then it was obviously Max, who actually bought myself. He bought me a Kansas City Chief tracksuit that he saw in a shop local to him, and some sweets from Finland. So yeah, definitely nice to give him a little binder as well. He was busy making a trade all the time. It was quite funny. Should have got his trade negotiations on film. But there's obviously people out there who'll do a lot of stuff, and you'll see it yourself, and you'll see a lot of stuff that will do curated scenes or maybe redo a negotiation or a sale. Um, because the whole kid thing, like, oh, let's look, I'm getting good guy, you're a hobby. That sort of stuff. I personally think they're just a bit scumbag in it, really. And don't get me wrong, I think it's people that just do content for kids. I've had debate or discussion before. That's why I always say I think Sports Cards UK Dan is like the sports cards sort of content creator go, as opposed to his subscriber counts and there's a lot less in GBW. I think his is more sort of the match attack stickers. He does a tops tour. His thing's more at the kids, right? That's his sort of thing. So I don't think he sort of uses kids. I think that's just his audience. I think there's a big difference in the two. So I'm not saying that what GBW does is like always scummy way he does it. He creates content for kids. He's going to have kids in his content. That sort of goes sort of hand in hand a little bit, right? I think for majority of people who are selling sports cards, usually the kids can't afford the sports cards. The content, quote unquote, creators that have. So it's usually the fathers are really selling it to, and that sort of stuff. But yeah, they want to get the kid in, right? And then they always want to chuck in some random nonsense in there. But yeah, it's a bit scummy. And it's just the way of the world, right? Unfortunately, and wasn't the whole issue not ago with Whatnot sort of having like kids on their streaming and selling stuff, and yeah, we won't get any better in that respect. They'll keep pushing gambling aspects. Fanatics are going to do the same thing, and they'll want their little back pocket content creators to push that whole narrative as well, like how cards are a kid's hobby, and look how good we are for kids, even though it's degenerate gambling with breaks and whatnot. It's not like they want collectors to collect, because they would, if they did, you'd sort of ban breaking, right, and ban reselling sort of thing. So I remember a sneaker store not long ago that if you were to buy the trainers, these limited trainers, you had to sort of wear them out of the shop. I think they even like damaged it, like they chuck around the box over. They damaged the box and like, yeah, you have to wear them out of the store. So they don't that sort of stuff, do they? Like, hey, if you want to buy these boxes from us, you got to open it at our ripping stations and let us record it for our socials. So you can buy it and you can just sell it there and in the shop, and you can kick, push and kick people out of the way. Whether that be boys, kids, girls, grandmas, whatever. Just give us money, and tomorrow when we see demand, we'll raise the price up. So yeah, degeneracy everywhere. But I am going to love you and leave you for this week's episode, just because I had some thoughts on that, really. But yeah, I hope you're all well. Yes, I know I teased a little thing not long ago. I'm still working on things. It's kind of evolved now, though, which is kind of annoying. So it's going to take. I will announce things soon come. But yes, it's going to. I did say jokingly as well. It's going to shake up the hobby. What's happened transpired from it is actually kind of a bigger thing, which is kind of interesting. It generally could like tremble, a little tremble on the hobby. But yeah, all will be announced soon. I just want to finalize a few things. Maybe I don't know. I might just go out a bit early and then just get things working and finalize things as things go. But we'll see. A few more things, a few more dotting the I's and crossing the T's, should we say. But no, I appreciate you guys as always. Take care. I will see you guys soon. Peace.